16 and pregnant. Teen mom. It's a normal thing to walk around high schools and count 5, 6, 7, maybe even 10 pregnant high school females. Pregnant while in high school is a new normal. It's accepted in society. According to DoSomething.org, 3 out of 10 American girls will be pregnant at least once before the age of 20. That's 750,000 pregnancies a year, and 50% of those pregnant females won't graduate from high school. This is exactly why it is so important that sexual education needs to be implemented into the core curriculum of public schools. By requiring students to take a sex ed class, it will not only help in educating the students, but raise awareness of the dangers of practicing unsafe sex, and even possibly prevent teen pregnancy. Throughout this speech, I will discuss the benefits that requiring a sexual education class in public schools would provide. Prevention starts with education, which brings me to my first point. In order to prevent something, you need to understand it. You need to understand what causes it and how it happens. The main purpose of bringing sexual education classes into the school systems would be to educate the students. In today's public schools, students are learning the basics of sex through media or social interactions with others, MTV and music videos, and what their friends tell them because they don't question their friends. Their friends always tell the truth, right? Very rarely is that information reliable or trusted. It comes from a reliable or a trusted source. According to the National Conference of State Legislature website, as of March 1st, 2016, only 38 states require some form of a sexual education class. However, out of those 38 states, 36 of them give parents the option for their students to opt out of the sex ed class. So what's the point of having them if the if the parent can take their kid out of it? By making the sexual education courses optional, it is opening the door for students to be given false information and to make uninformed decisions. Misinformed students mean that teenagers are not taking the appropriate steps to make sure that they are being safe. Which leads me to my second point. Implementing sexual education classes in public schools can help raise awareness of the dangers of sex. Teenagers today believe that unsafe sex can, in worst case scenario, lead to an unwanted pregnancy. They are not aware of the numerous other dangers that unsafe sex pose. According to HHS.gov, 1 in 4 sexually active teens will contract some form of an STD throughout their teenage years. If students are properly informed of ways that STDs are transmitted and how they can be prevented and how they can be treated, then that 1 in 4 could turn into a 1 in 10 or even a 1 in 20. Required sex ed not only informs students, but by raising awareness of the dangers of practicing unsafe sex, but it also allows students to be cautious of the dangers that their actions may cause and how they can affect their future. As I stated before, uninformed teenagers make uninformed decisions. These decisions can turn out to have life-changing consequences, which leads me to my third and final point. Pushing the idea that sexual education classes should be required in all public schools could potentially reduce, if not completely prevent, teen pregnancy. As I stated before, 50% of teenage girls who become pregnant will not graduate from high school. Because of one decision they made, their education stops, at least for the moment being. I'm not stating that becoming pregnant at a young age is a death sentence. I'm simply stating that one little decision, such as practicing unsafe sex, can have serious, life-changing consequences. According to the CDC website, there were almost 250,000 babies born to mothers between the ages of 15 and 19 in 2014. The interesting part of that statistic is that 250,000 was actually considered a low number, one of the lowest years since the 1940s. In conclusion, education is the backbone of our nation. Without education, we cannot stand for anything. Today's youth needs to be informed of the dangers that their actions and choices can pose on their health. I have stated numerous reasons as to why sexual education courses should be required in public schools. Raising awareness and reducing teen pregnancy all starts with my main point of education. Although having the talk is uncomfortable and awkward for all parties involved, no matter what age the talk starts at, it can eventually help save someone's life.